Hello everyone, welcome back to Scrape Metal and Roll, the Limited Artesian podcast. This is episode 20, talking about the brand new Sprint Championship, which has just started with round 1 at Phillip Island. And talking to me this time are 3 of the drivers who were involved in the action. First up then, he's brand new to the league. It's Simon Norton. How you doing, Simon?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks, man. Yeah, nice to have you on. And next up, they almost need no introduction as they've made such a splash in the league since they've started. One of the real fun time teams. It's the Formullamas. It's Clayton and Daniel. How are you guys doing?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, great,
Good.
man. Yeah, lovely to have you guys back on again. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about TCR in the Sprint Championship at Phillip Island. A very exciting first round of the championship, I'm sure you'll all agree. But first of all, though, let's get to know Simon. So, Simon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi. So I'm kind of new to sim racing, and yeah, I've been. I think I started like last summer. So, well, actually, about a year and a half. Yeah, I've always been into kind of gaming and stuff like that, but I always had a little kind of love for racing games, and I had like an Xbox steering wheel about kind of 10 years ago, but I suffered by playing loads of F1 22 I think in 21 on a joypad, and that's when I really got into it and do my full length Grand Prix on the weekend.
Oh, so, on a joypad, impressive.
Yeah, that was a Codemasters game though, so it was hard work.
Yeah,
and then and then I got the little I think next level fold away chair with the Logitech wheel, and then I was doing the full length Grand Prix on that, and I was really enjoying that. And then I just I came into a bit of money, and I thought, you know what? And I've been watching Boosted Media's stuff online.
Yeah,
that guy who does like the point of view with his like the 10 grand rig.
That's amazing. Have you
you've
not got one of them, have you?
Sorry?
You haven't got one of those, have you?
No. But I made a spreadsheet of all the stuff that what I want to get close to it, and started, trying to think, I'll do it step by step. But then I kept reading online, everyone saying, do you know what, you just need to buy the kind of nice stuff. But yeah, I basically moved house. I had the space to get a rig. So I bought the aluminum profile, the seat, and the triple screen monitors, and the direct drive wheel. And I thought I'll go in sort of low end there. And I think I did ACC for a week, and I bought iRacing. And then for almost a year now since I've had iRacing, I think it's 10 months now, I've played it at least. I mean, if I miss a day, it's very rare. I just fell in love with it, and I just thought this is basically, yeah. I'm a very whimsical person as well. I always my hobbies, I just get into them and I stop them really quickly. But racing, I've just fell in love with it. I think it's probably I'll never be able to not do it now. Now I'm just thinking about what's next, what's the next kind of piece of equipment I can buy. But yeah, loving it. I just love the idea of honing my ability. I didn't think it would be as deep as it is. But I've read all the Skip Barber I watched shows. I'm buying books on how to improve my racing. I'm really trying hard to get as good as the pros. Well, not the pros, but just the 5Kers and the 4Kers. So yeah, I'm on a little journey, but I have plateaued in a minute. I realised you've got to put a lot of effort in to get really good, and I don't have a lot of time. I'm a dad. I've got 2 kids, so that's a bit of a struggle, but.
Yeah, join the club.
Yeah.
What's your iRacing at now?
I think it's about 1,800 or high 700s, 1700s. But yeah, I haven't. Since I joined this league, I did another one. I've got another league as well, which I probably will finish off and not continue, because I like the idea of the community stuff. That's why I wanted to find a league. So I've been hunting around and I ended up on what's that guy's name? LeBrocker's Discord.
Oh yeah.
And a couple of people I think pointed me in this direction. So yeah, and everyone's really chatty, and there's a lot going on. Whereas the other leagues, it's just racing, And I thought, well, I can just do that on the official hosted things, right? So
exactly, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you guys, I think I like it here. You know, you guys are quite welcoming and chatty. So yeah, this is. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. It's going to be exciting.
No, excellent stuff. Yeah, I'm really glad you're here, and to be honest with you, hearing that that it is supposed to be a community, and I'm really glad that it's nice to hear the feedback and that people find it to be like that. So that's great news. So you picked the Veloster. Was that a specific choice, or was it just the TCR that you had?
I picked it because I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I've heard the feedback that it handles well. Like I'm all about. I always want to find a car that is the easiest to get around, and rotate, and stuff like that. And I thought, I heard that was apparently, a good car for that. So I went with it, and I quite enjoyed it. So I was quite happy with my first purchase. That was the only car I have. So I just played with that a bit, and yeah. But it's quite a change for me because I've been doing a bit of F4 and a bit of most of the time I spent with GT4s, so I got really used to those. But yeah, I find it quite hard flipping cars around on iRacing. But yeah, I quite like that car, so I'm happy. I'll stick with it, and I'm as competitive as I could wish to be. I think so far. So.
Good, yeah. Well, you're locked into it now anyway. For the
that's
the
what I was
next
going to ask. Yeah, can I change? No.
No. Yeah, you're locked in. We try to have a little bit of realism there and stop that kind of jumping between cars thing. So yeah, excellent. So moving on then to Clayton and Daniel. How are you guys? Nice to the channel's doing really well, and we seem to be getting a nice Formullama invasion into the LoA. How's things going?
I'm loving the Formullama invasion. I think you're joining Prime, aren't you, Daniel, with Blake?
I just signed up for the Prime League. Yeah, I think like 2 days after the Phillip Island race in the TCRs.
That's awesome.
So I'm joining another Formullama Blake in the Primes there. So we're going to be bringing that. I'm actually midway through working on the livery.
Brilliant.
For the Prime Cup.
I'm really excited to see how the Formullama livery translates onto the IRA team. It's going to be great.
Me too.
They're just ridiculous slap jobs, honestly. I don't know how else to describe it.
I'm looking forward to that one because that's now the three main events: Sprint, Endurance, and Prime. We've now got a team in, which I'm delighted with. And the fact that we've got a team in Prime, which is something I don't think I'll ever drive, means I can watch the race videos that you guys do and just have a proper team that I'm supporting, and it's just going to add that extra element. I can't wait. I'm buzzing off the thought of that.
That is going to be very cool.
I wouldn't expect
not from you, but not from
especially
you,
not out
but
of
from
me.
Blake.
The Stig though.
Yeah, he's the quick one.
Yeah. And Clayton, you're when you guys were last on the podcast, you were adamant that you were TCR only and stuff. And so this is a a massive change from what we were talking about last time. And obviously you're dipping your toe into GT3 and endurance, just fresh off the track. How is the practice going?
That practice session was awful because the track temps were sky high.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
It was like 47
really
degrees, I think, or something.
Yeah.
So it felt very different, but it's good. I really haven't driven that Porsche in anything other than a league, a limit of adhesion practice session. So it's pretty intense to think that this time tomorrow we will be finished. But yeah, I just got to try and keep my nose clean and not
It's a lie. You did 3 laps testing out the livery the other night
to make the
video. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But that car drives. It's so different from the TCRs, and I feel like I'm spoiling myself a little bit. But nah, it's all good. I'm still gonna stick to TCRs except for the weeks where we have the endurance race.
Brilliant stuff.
But it's great fun to drive.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about TCR then. Phillip Island, an unusual track actually. I hadn't driven. I've done like Skip Barber and F3 and things there, but the first time I've run tin top there, I think. Real challenge with the front wheel drive. How did you guys find it? So what you saying?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Rotate through.
Yeah. Well, this is my first time with these cars, so for me it was just like a baptism of fire. Trying to figure out how to get that car around the track. It was challenging. It's all again. It's very hard to switch from different cars, different disciplines. I've always stuck one car, so moving over to these cars and then like switching to other cars, I was really struggling to come back to this car and just make it turn and stuff like that. But do you know what? To be honest, watching the videos that the 6-tip video, that's what completely transformed my kind of ability to get it around.
Oh, good.
Because the fixed setup with the brake bias is just insanely off.
You got to knock that. Brake bias back.
and the way the car handles with the understeer, and then you're flipping it to like just sort of getting the rear out around the corners. It completely transforms how you drive it. It's to be honest, I love them. They're so much fun. It's really good.
They are a lot of fun, yeah. And Clayton and Daniel, you guys in the Audi, obviously. Did you find the track particularly difficult, or I was finding it a bit hellish in the Elantra, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we had run, Clay, what was it, 2, maybe 3?
Yeah, we did quite a lot.
The week
we did quite a lot
of
practice leading up to it.
Yeah,
we had great results then. Didn't we?
and
I think that's due to.
Yeah. But initially.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
I was going
to say initially in the practice sessions it was tough, but I kind of started to enjoy the track. It's not one of my favourites by any stretch of the word, I will say, but
that corner,
I was more comfortable there when come race day.
Yeah, that uphill left-hander was my nightmare corner.
What, like near the end of the track?
That's where I was.
It was turn 2 for me. I was doing turn 2 differently every lap.
Yeah,
it felt like
so hard to get right.
As soon as I figured out that if you stay off the throttle until you get to the top of the hill, like literally the top of the hill is the point where you start accelerating on the way back down, and it will stick then. Once I figured that out, I got a lot more consistent on that corner, and that transformed my practice and my race.
Yeah, you gave me that tip in one of our practice sessions, and even still, when I would do it, I felt like I was doing it differently every lap.
How many laps do you guys do on a practice session like before the race? Is it like? Because you say practice session, but
it's hours, isn't it?
We did a couple of 1 hour, 2 hour practice sessions.
Actually, I think it was more like 2 hours. I usually put them on for 2 hours, so I probably did roughly 6 hours of practice.
Oh wow,
for that. Yeah,
that's a lot more than I did.
Yeah, you went hard. You went hard on it. I did tell.
I have to overcompensate with.
Don't have talent.
No, I've got to
overcompensate
with practice. I've got to spend hours on it.
Right.
Well, let's talk about the race then. We had 30 cars on the grid, which is an incredible field of cars for the first round. Hopefully the field stays up that high. We normally see a bit of drop off over the season, but there were people missing actually, so hopefully it'll be as big. Seemed to be a very big an Audi focused track, if I'm honest. Well, certainly looking at the results, where only David Ward in the Elantra was the only one sort of on the pace compared to everyone else who was all. And then Alex in P8 with the Civic. So, tell us about your races. Then, Clayton, you had a great start, qualifying P2.
We were in the practice session, the official practice session, and I was saying to Dan, like, what is going on? I was in like second place, thinking any moment now someone's gonna, they'll start putting their lap times in. But no, it just worked, didn't it? Like I say, all that practice has paid off. I think that track suits the Audi because there's not that many tight corners.
Yeah.
I
really think
only
I
one
felt like
really,
that.
and it's
all very high speed, isn't it?
Like driving the Audi around Knock Hill recently in the official sessions was an absolute nightmare. It was like trying to drive a bus around it. But Phillip Island didn't have those restraints, and then on the straight you just bugger off, don't you? And no one can catch you on a straight.
Yeah.
So
a lot more grunt.
Yeah, it was definitely a good car choice for that week.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the same when we go to the Nürburgring for round 2 as well, because that's a pretty fast track as well.
Yeah,
lots of long straights.
We can hope.
Well, the main straight's really long. And then you've got that long drag up to the chicane, haven't you? So, yeah, the Hyundai's... I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was just I couldn't hook it up on the night because I didn't get near to... I was about 0.6 off my best throughout the whole evening, really. So I just didn't get anywhere close to where I should have been. So it was... it felt like a bit of a... Second race felt like a bit of a drag for me because I just ended up in a bit of no man's land, just plodding around on my own. And, and forgetting to... The fast left-hander to finish the lap wasn't flat out, was it? I think you guys fell off there as well, didn't you?
We did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially those opening 3 laps, maybe 4 laps. You got to lift a bit on the entry, but after the tyres, heat up, you if you get the line right, you should be good to go flat out. But yeah, it was an interesting track.
Definitely, yeah.
Very interesting.
No, it was good fun. So, let's talk the slightly controversial issue of some penalties that came out because
the collusion at the headquarters of the Innovation. It's off the charts. It's an absolute disgrace. I've been on with my lawyers.
Yeah, I didn't feel the contact was that bad for the Formullama for your one, Clayton, into T10 with Dom, the vote went in and it was a penalty, but they even went to the trouble of like saying, well, it wasn't that bad, so they've sort of made the smallest penalty possible because we felt quite bad. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I felt bad that it happened. Like I say, live, and there's a video out there where you can hear my reaction live. I felt like I'd made the apex, so it was all fair. I hadn't really considered that. I wasn't alongside enough in the braking zone. But I'm okay with it. I know it is what it is. You take your medicine, you move on, you learn from it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you now, Dom has made an enemy for life.
Excellent. You guys are getting a new beef every week. Last time it was the camels, now it's the stupid Aguris. Brilliant.
Yeah, stupid Aguris. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Which is still probably like my favourite team name. I'm biased to Formullama, but Stupid Aguri is fantastic.
And it's the longest serving team on the grid, actually. It's been around since season 2. Yeah.
What season are we in? Is it like 10? Is it the 10th
Well,
year?
so Prime, it's based on Prime. So Prime is now in season 10. So season 2 was our Skip Barber season, which is when we debuted teams. And it all gets a bit muddy after that because obviously we did like 6 seasons of GT3 and then we stopped doing GT3 and we've done 3 seasons of USF and we did 2 of TCR, but now it's, we're fixed on these 3 championship names of Prime, Endurance and Sprint. So, yeah, it should be more easier to keep track of following that. Quite a hard track to overtake, wasn't it? So, I'm not surprised there was a bit of contact in your move.
Yeah, it was the only sniff I had. I overtook him in, I think, the first or second lap.
Oh, and he came back on you, didn't he?
There was netcode that was involved with that. I actually pushed him wide I didn't feel it at all. So I was celebrating one of the best moves of my life, and I watched the replay, and it is clearly netcode. Biffed him out wide. He got me back though with an equally great move, and that's what you join a league for, isn't it? Close overtaking, and it is hard. But outside those 2 moves that were clean. Well, actually, my first one probably wasn't clean because of the netcode. It was hard to overtake, and if someone has a run on the Audi, for example, coming out of that last corner, you're not going to get it done because the Audi's got the legs.
I had a fantastic fight with Marek Kiska, who's another debutant to the league, in the final few laps of Heat 1, and I kept getting the run on him through turn 2 and stuff, but I just couldn't get it done. And then at the hairpin, he was out braking me. So on the final lap, I actually braked where he was braking every lap. And of course, he then deliberately tried to go 10 metres later and out of a shot. So I was giggling to myself because I knew I had done, and I'd sort of sold him the pup with it because he was waiting for me to brake. And then he was like, right, when you brake, I'm going to brake later. And it was too late.
That's how you got to do it, isn't it? You got to try and pressure people into a move.
Exactly, you got to trick them. So
there's nothing more satisfying than just making someone else make a mistake. If you're the reason that they're cracking, and it's just I love that moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Simon, you finished. So we'll just do a quick rundown of the order then. So Mike Murphy winning the race, a stunning drive by Mike actually, and Clayton, you finished second on the road, but I think you've been demoted to third.
I still got third.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Still got a little medal. Cracking.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be many more. I mean, I think based on that drive, you've got a strong chance of a win coming up.
I think this is the plan all along.
I think we
did
surprised
surprise
ourselves. As the home base of Formullama did
Yeah.
not have
And then David Ward finishing in, promoted up to second place, I assume. Then Dom in fourth, and then Ben Chowcroft. Daniel, you had a great drive coming up from, because you had quite a low quali, didn't you? 15th up to 6th. So
Yeah, my quali, the practice, I was like 38.6 or something, which was really good. And if I was able to replicate that in quali, I would have started around 5th, I believe it was, or 6th. And I just couldn't hook it up in quali. I don't know what it was. I would be going quicker, and then coming around the last 2 corners, it just slips away from me. So yeah, I took the beat on that one and started. I think it was, what do you say, 15th? It was, but
so nice.
My opening couple laps were good. So.
A nice climb through the field, though. Yeah. And was that the race where you had the contact with Maxwell?
Yes, yeah. So that was race 1. Yeah, that I did. Again, it's so different when you're in the moment in the car. I knew, reaching the corner 2, I was like, oh, I think I've missed my braking zone. And I'm turning, and what my biggest mistake was braking too hard.
Yeah.
So that's just ruined all kinds of stopping power for me there. And the ABS is clicked on, and I looked at the onboard after the race. You know, me and Clayton took that warm-up time to look at our incidents, and I'm turning, but I'm going straight. It's like, oh yeah, that's awful. So going back to the penalties, I knew I'd be buggered, because I was like, that wasn't on. That wasn't on. The move was there, but I just executed it poorly. So I will take full responsibility for that one. That was something to live and learn by.
Yeah.
There for me, that.
And Simon, starting 22nd and finishing 25th, why don't you give us a little overview of your Heat 1?
Was that the one where I got pwned off into oblivion? I think that didn't go too well. Yeah, and I think that was netcode, sadly, but yeah, it seems to happen to me quite a bit. I'm that guy just gets picked out and flung across the track. I always try to be really, really careful. I think I probably I do brake too late just to try to keep out of trouble, but maybe that throws other people off. So yeah, that was a bit of a recovery drive. I think I made one other mistake on that turn 2 when I was trying to recover that, and I just ran wide and I lost a load of spaces again. I can't remember if that was the next heat or not, but yeah, I was just looking at my times where you guys were talking, and I think I improved it by a second almost in the race. So I was definitely, I had some pace at the time. I think I remember that the second heat I was about a couple of seconds behind you, Gareth. So I was there was someone overtook me and they were chasing you down. So I watched the last couple of laps with you under pressure, and that's when I was sort of getting things together. So yeah, the second race was definitely better for me, but the first one was I just didn't recover. So,
that's a big shame. Yeah, no, I was under a lot of pressure at the end of that second race, like you say.
Yeah.
From who was it? Just have a quick scan.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
It was Neil. Yeah, Neil Todd. Who? He very nearly got me on the final corner actually. So.
Yeah.
Very close race. Let's talk about the second race. And I mean, as I say, apart from cocking up and running wide a few times, a bit of a lonely race until that little pressure from Neil at the end. So, and as you say, you came home 15th, so just behind me, really. So, much more fun race for you, I assume. Yeah,
that was when I was just settling into stuff, and I do have these scary. I've got some technical problems in my setup. I don't know if it's Panatech gear or stuff like that, but I'm just constantly nervous of my gears stopping working. It's happened so many times recently. So I'm just driving around as carefully as possible, just praying that my equipment will sort of hold together.
That's disappointing when you've got DD in that. You'd expect it to behave, didn't you?
Yeah. Apparently it's a common problem. I think it's something to do with the quick release, so I might have to upgrade, but those cost a lot of money for something very simple.
Yes.
But when I'm in the zone and everything's, I'm just locked in. I sort of to get things together, and as you know, it's like consistency is key right at the end of the day. I might not be that fast, but if I can just get around and not make any mistakes, I tend to, by looking at the pace of everybody else, I'm expecting to sort of finish hopefully mid-pack. That's my goal. But there's some seriously fast people in this league, and not even like a high I rating. They're just really fast. So I'm not expecting to finish top 10 finish for me would be amazing. That's kind of been my goal going forwards, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to change track to track though as well. So
yeah.
Just keep plugging away and see what happens. I mean, I got a fluky win at the end of last season, so these things happen. So
that was exactly our goal going in. We just said if one of us can get in the top 10 on one of those two races, we'll be delighted. So you'll get a week, won't you?
You should. You'd imagine our faces when the race ended.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the Formullama race then, Clayton and Daniel. What were your results like?
So, I got one position better, I think, 5th place in the second race. But I started second, and I actually led the first 3 or 4 corners, I think. So I think it was Maxwell that started pole because of the reverse grid.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and but I think he got a kind of a bad start off the line, and kind of got ambushed into the first 2 corners. But yeah, I mean, it was Dom, David, and Mike Murphy, right up the trumpet there. So they all kind of just slid right by me, and then Clayton came by me, going into the fast left-hander, and I just said to myself, okay, I know Clayton's got definitely from race 1, he's got better pace than me, so I'm just gonna, you can have it and chase those 3 down, and I'll stay here and kind of run my own race. And that actually has kind of ended up what happening, because I just stayed there in 5th place, very happily so, in 5th place, until the last 2 laps, where I think it was Mark Innes was catching.
Dirty camel.
The camels were catching, and I didn't realise it was a camel until you pointed it out mid-race, Clay. So I was like, all right, okay, head down, got to beat the camels. But what actually ended up happening was he got hit on the last, I think it was the second to last lap or the last lap.
Yeah, he did. No,
I'm not sure who by. Yeah, but I saw it in the rear mirrors, and I was just like, oh damn, that sucks. But for my sake, it kind of secured my position, so I just kind of slowly drove it home for a very happy 5th place and no crashing into anybody.
That's
in
a great
race 2,
result.
so
yeah,
I was satisfied.
Funny enough, this is Mark's first season in TCR, because he was adamant he wasn't going to get in front wheel drive and stuff. So I was persuading him on the podcast a couple of times. So he's now dipped his toe, and it turns out he's quite rapid in them. So delighted to see it. He's done well.
Yeah. He was catching me lap by lap, very, very quickly.
I mean, he's a fast driver anyway, but yeah, nice to see him doing so well in TCR. So yeah, and did I hear a rumour that there might have been a bit of llama on llama contact during the race?
No,
or was that the pass?
Yeah,
it was close. Yeah, but I let you through. That was when you were coming up. It was we were side by side, weren't we? Off that
the sort of second hairpin.
The second hairpin.
It's in our video, the comms, we were talking very quickly.
Yes, and you will just hear me saying, go. I don't want to be here.
There's no boss in this situation, and you haven't got team orders. Obviously you got to discuss between you.
Yeah, there's no team orders. We're not doing that.
The team orders were live in the moment between both of us.
I had a better exit, so it kind of took care of itself a little bit.
Yeah, you had the run.
It,
Yeah, and like I just said, you had the pace on me, I'm not going to hold
always worth checking out the Formullama YouTube channel, Simon, if you're not on there already, and anyone else who's listening. It's a good laugh, actually, and really, really fun videos. The one you put together for Charlotte was just top of it was so good, where you were like fading between the two cars. It was brilliant. Loved that video.
Yeah, I didn't like that video.
Oh, thank you.
Because
thank you.
Daniel, I know.
You said this
I'm
last
say
time
it
on
again.
the pod. You don't need to rehash
Daniel was in charge of editing and highlighted all of your overtakes, and you showed all of my bad bits and none of my overtakes. It was an absolute disgrace.
Well,
it really broke the team up.
Your overtakes, rubbish. There was barely any overtakes to had. You just kept crashing the car, mate. I don't know what to do.
We've deemed that to be too much effort. So
I'm not surprised actually.
It's just going to be.
It did take me like 3 days or something, of like a couple hours here and there trying to do it, but I enjoyed it though. I mean, will one of those videos surface up again one day?
I guess if we both have really interesting races, and it might demand it, but
it's worth chopping together the multiple POVs.
But for Phillip Island, I think arguably I had the more interesting race to watch, so mine was the one that went up. Because the audio for the races would be the same because we're on the same chat. So there's no point uploading them both. So usually the most interesting race would be the one that goes up.
Yeah. And so just looking at the results, then it was Don Parker who picking up the win ahead of Mike Murphy and David Ward and himself, Clayton and Daniel, as we talked about, Ben Chowcroft, Tyler Graff, Mark Innes, Gavin Kelly and Chris White running out top 10. I was 13th and Sam was 15th, as we discussed. I'm going to give... I was chatting to Mike Murphy actually yesterday, who is someone who prefers to talk on text rather than voice, which is absolutely fine. But I wanted to give his feedback on his round, because obviously he had an absolute blinder. So he said, he was. So he did have a pole position at Snetterton last season, but then he lost a couple of places, but I think he still had a podium or something. But he, so he's always had the pace, and obviously he was in the Audi. I thought he was in the Civic, but he was in the Audi apparently both times. It's the only one he's got. So he said race one was fairly uneventful, had to defend a little at the start. Realised in the last minute of practice I had no recollection of how to start the car, so I had to do some practice in the pits. And he said because obviously Ben Chowcroft is one of they're all in the Minardi stable, and Ben, it sounds like he was giving him grief, telling him how easy the Civic is to get off the grid. And he said race 2 was good fun, benefited massively from the 2 Formullama cars going wide at the final corner end of lap 1, made up 2 places there. And then he said
that was a disgrace.
And then he said Dom defended brilliantly, so no way past, couldn't get the lines of runs he needed, and really enjoyed battling with David Ward too. So very cool. Really, really pleased for Mike, because he had a fantastic round. Hopefully he keeps going for the season.
When he overtook us on the straight, I was a little bit happy about that, because I knew he was quicker, and to get it out the way early doors, then we could just concentrate on our race.
Oh God,
yeah, I think we went wide on purpose for that reason, actually. It wasn't driver error. It was calculated.
The llamas were hungry and they wanted some grass.
That was it. We were grazing.
Exactly.
Grazing time. I think you needed grazing time on the car.
Grazing time. Yeah, we could do that, couldn't we?
Grazing time.
Now, let's take a look at the championships then. So Mike is obviously on top in the gold in the overall championship, although he is silver. He's in the Silver Cup. His LoA rating wasn't high enough to qualify for gold automatically due to the splits. Dom's in second overall, David Ward, Clayton and then Ben. Silver, it's Mike from Ben, from Mark, Chris, myself, and then bronze is Gavin. Gavin Kelly is top, ahead of Rich Meesters and Philip Miles, and then James Pepper and Dan LaHaye in fifth. So, some work to do for quite a few of us as we look ahead. And Stupid Aguri on top of the teams after the controversialness of the boo. Formullama in second, CXW Racing in third place. So it's very exciting to see. There's 18 teams registered, although not all of them obviously on the grid this time out. 14 teams scored points. 1 man, 1 car in 14th place. I don't know who that is, but that's a great team name.
This is something I've struggled with. I really need to get. I want to get a better name. Crash Bang Wallop was one of my ideas.
Was that yours then? 1 man, 1 car.
No, I haven't got one.
Oh, yeah.
I need one.
Oh, yeah.
Are you classed as a privateer, Simon? You need to get on the forums and speak to one of the others and try and build a team.
Yeah, that's a good point. I
might as well, right?
Yeah.
There could be a couple other drivers, like teamless, that are definitely wanting to.
I'll put feelers out. Yeah,
I'd assume.
I have to say, I'm way more interested in seeing like success for the Formullama name over my own.
Yeah. The personal stats are nice.
For those 4 or 5 days where we were top of the standings.
When we were on top of the team,
I the background.
The WhatsApp chat wouldn't shut up.
It's up on my wall.
Yeah, it's framed.
You guys will be back up there very soon, I'm sure. So
I'm going to. I am going to try hard to do that.
You will be fine. Let's take a look at the rest of the calendar then. Next up is the Nürburgring, and it's. I don't know which version of the chicane we're doing. Oh, Beswek. So that's going to be the fast version, which is I like the tight one. So, but that's going to be very Audi friendly.
That sounds Audi friendly, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
With those straights.
Yeah, we're going to get walloped in the Hyundais. Then we go to Brands Hatch Nürburgring is a 45-minute race, so a single race with a pit stop. Brands Hatch is going to be 3 15-minute sprints, so that's going to be fun. Then we go to Okayama for 2 20-minute races. I'm not sure which car that's going to favour then. And then Road Atlanta for a triple 15. That should be a lot of fun. Snetterton for the full track layout. Legacy Silverstone. Donington, the national layout, which is... I don't know about you guys. I think the national is the better one. Do you agree?
There's something about that final chicane, right?
Yeah.
It is good. I love Donington. I absolutely love Donington.
Yeah, Donny's brilliant. I mean, you're bloody quick round there as well, aren't you, Clayton?
I think I've done a lot of practice on that one already.
Yeah.
So it might help.
And then we've got the Red Bull Ring and finishing off at Imola, I beg your pardon.
I was going to say, oh dear.
No.
That sounded better. No, you say it now.
Monza. Everyone hop in the Audi.
You say it now, Gareth. I think it's Monza now.
Yeah, it's confirmed, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. I tell you what, Imola in the TCRs is a nightmare. It is. What sort of race is that, Gareth? Is that?
It's 3:15s. So at least it's short, and we can get it done and then start again.
Yeah.
So we get 3 attempts, Clay, to actually get.
I saw I did see the video popped up in my feed, and I haven't watched it yet. So that's on my list of things to do to get some insight how you got them round. So
only one video because I did it once and buggered off. Like
I was going to say, I don't know.
Was it that bad?
I really didn't like
how terrible it was.
Much better in the Porsche.
Yeah. Snetterton's really good fun in the TCR though. We had a great race there last season, so that should be good.
Yeah, I've only driven the old school version of that. Is it 200? Snetterton 200?
Yeah, 300's the full track.
Yeah, never driven that before in my life, so we'll need to practice. But I love Snetterton from the old Tocker days. I remember it in Tocker.
Yeah. Well, the intersection is actually really good. It's really fun. The only corner I've never particularly liked is Palmer, which is this long left-hander, but it's actually quite good. It's all right, really. But then after that,
is that the only track that has the actual names of the corners on the side?
Yes, I think it might be. Yeah,
it's quite helpful.
It is helpful. Yeah. We should start a campaign to have that introduced on other tracks. But no, Mark Innes, will just be like every corner would just say spoon. And
talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we've had various people like Sam Stott, who he's from the QRS team. He's been around a long time. Hopefully, he'll be back this season. But he did some commentary for our GT3 days at Imola, and the only corner name he knew was Aqua Minerale. So he was just like, "Is that Aqua Minerale? Is that one?" Funnily enough, I mean, Aqua Minerale, I think, is the best corner on the track, actually. I love that little sector.
Yeah. If it rains, which it won't do in the TCR race. But it might do by the end of the season. By the end of the season, it might be rain enabled. Every corner could be aqua mineral.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that'd be crazy good. Yeah. And anyway, well, let's wrap it up then. And I want to say a massive thank you to Simon, Clayton, and Daniel for being on this episode of Scrape Metal and Roll. And hopefully we will have a great time racing for the rest of this TCR season. So yeah, thank you guys. And
awesome.
Time to say goodbye.
Pleasure.
Cheers, Gareth.
Cool. Cheers, guys. See you next time.
Yeah.